Today you got 89 on up, homie, with On the Edge with BJ, APB, and you know we serving it like usual, G stuff, not ye stuff. And today's topic is about what to kick off a prison riot, kind of how we should go about diffusing a prison riot, and how we supposed to kind of like verbally or really deal with our peoples in the wrong before a prison riot kick off. So I'm gonna let the G homeboy that's kind of like fully knowledgeable of that take the floor, homie. Go ahead, loved one.
Alright. Well, just so people know, a lot of people don't understand that prison is just like any job, any corporation. Rules are set in stone, and when the rules are set in stone, they're set in stone for a reason. And most of the rules are set in stone so we don't have to have riots, whether it's a blood on blood, crip on crip, crip blood, whatever. It don't matter. These rules are set in stone. And most of the time when a riot happens, it happens because somebody jumps outside the guidelines of those rules. For example, say somebody disrespects somebody. The person that got disrespected, instead of him doing something and causing a riot, he try to be a man and bring it to your attention that your homeboy disrespected him in a way of it could go into a problem. Sometimes when that happens, homies depend on getting at that homie verbally and the situation be over with. But sometimes when you take it to a homie's attention, that homie feel like he's by himself and he's invisible, and he taking it upon himself to go just squabble with the dude, even though we done told him like that shit over with, he'd go take it upon himself. And when he do that, he puts everybody's life in danger. And then another reason riots happen is sometimes people get in over their head, owing money, whether it's through gambling or drugs or whatever they doing, and don't know how to pay their debt. Sometimes you got people that go gamble. They say this cat lose $1,000. He lose $1,000. He don't got it to pay. So what he'd do is he'd come outside the next day and try to get back in the dice game, hoping by luck that he could trim some of that debt down so he can pay it or don't have to pay it at all. And they don't always go that way. Sometimes it be, okay, you owe $1,000 already. You can't get back in the dice game till you pay your bill. And that's where shit go wrong at, because he didn't have the money in the first place. You get what I'm saying? He went out there on his name, and people accepted it because of who he was, and then he get out there and owe that type of money. And when they won't let him back in the dice game, instead of him saying, I don't have it, let me work it on, he catches the complex when he didn't really have it at all, and he gets to saying, I ain't paying that shit, they cheated me, and it's always something. So the bottom line is, in order to stop riots from happening, people have to be accountable for their people like we always give our word. When somebody brings something to your attention that your homeboy done something wrong, properly investigate it, because you got to look at it as another race is not going to come across that line and tell you something about your homeboy if it ain't true.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got weasels that do things sometimes, but you got to know the character of the people you're dealing with also. If this dude is a reputable Mexican and he come talks to you, you know this dude's reputation. So if he come telling you that your homie did this and that to him, you got to take that in consideration. Now, I can see if it's a Mexican that come to you about your homie and you see him and the homie always playing grab ass on the yard playing with each other, he come complaining, yeah, I'm not going to believe him. But somebody that never complains, he just out of nowhere come, yeah, you got to check into that.
Right.
And people got to understand that you got to start being a man and step to the plate when your homie wrong and deal with it. Don't just be, I'm not going to do nothing to the homie because a Mexican said it or this person said it. It don't matter where the information came from. If it's true, deal with the situation and move on. Because if you don't, you not only putting your life in danger, you putting 1,000 people's life in danger for a dude that don't even give a fuck about your life. Because if he gave a fuck about your life, he wouldn't put y'all in danger. That's the bottom line on that one.
That's it, homie. Do you other races kind of function like that as well? Like, you know, if you tell a Hispanic something about their people and they kind of know a homie or a rip is kind of serious, homie, have you been places where they really take heed and kind of get at their people?
Right. They do, like I said, in prison, there's a rule of conduct. So if you're the type of person, you hadn't been getting your teeth knocked out all around the yard every other week and this and that, people know that you're respectable. So when you take it to the Mexicans, they're going to deal with their people. You know what I mean? But like I said, if your name always coming up with some BS, they're not going to respect you bringing nothing to them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's all the way around the board, whether it's an Asian, a white boy, the police, it don't matter. When you bring something to somebody and you a bullshit person, you're not going to be respected. But when you somebody that everybody in the yard respects because your name is never in nothing and you bring it up, people know it's a serious issue. And yeah, it's going to get took care of.
Hey, one more thing, man. Are you knowledgeable?
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Are you knowledgeable about the prison Peace Act, I guess, or something like that with the North, the South, and brothers, homie? Can you kind of like chime in on that?
Yeah, well, I actually have access to that information if people would like to read it for themselves. Because when we was all in the shoe, a lot of people that was in Pelican Bay shoe had signed a document saying that those specific groups would not be involved in riots no more against each other. You get what I'm saying? And so part of that peace agreement was, say for instance, I'm gonna give an example, like if the blacks come out and get into it with the Northerners, but the Northerners brought it to our attention that one of our homies is wrong, and we choose not to accept that the homie wrong, and we rather get into it with them. 9 times out of 10, the Southsiders, the white boys, and everybody else is going to help them go against us. And the reason why is because we fucking up the yard by starting some bullshit and protecting somebody that's in the wrong. So by us doing that, everybody else is going to get involved and try to remove us. You know what I mean? That way the yard can get back to the way it's supposed to be, where people could program, play sports, people could go where they're supposed to go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. So does it work like that if with another race, just say we got into it with another race, would everybody look at it the same way as everybody would look at it with the blacks, you think?
Everybody do, right?
Right.
But most of the time, when it comes to other races, it end up getting squashed before it gets to that level, because other races chime in with people and let them know the consequences. And other people, once they learn the consequences, they back up. Like, I'm going to give you an example of when we was in Pelican Bay and we first started all playing sports with each other. There was a few whites there want to participate because the blacks was playing. You know what I mean? And all the other races chimed in with us and was like, well, if y'all don't want to participate, then y'all can't participate in nothing around here. You feel me?
Right.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Y'all going against what we already agreed upon, we not going to be doing. And so eventually, they had some older whites that came that was with it and put it together where we all could play sports together.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because at first it wasn't like that. It was like the blacks and Mexicans was out there playing basketball and football, but the white boys wasn't getting in that shit. They was like, we not participating in nothing with the blacks, period. We're not eating with them. We're not doing none of that. But eventually they started playing sports with us, going to groups with us, sitting in classroom with us and all that. They don't eat with us. That's still something they don't do. But as far as, keeping the prison functioning, like it's supposed to function, they do their part,
Right. Did the brothers eat with the Hispanics in the Bay at any time?
Hell yeah. It took a minute. I ain't going to sit up here and tell you that it didn't happen.
Right.
It took a minute, but sooner or later it got to the point where, we might have day room and cats would come out with girls. It might be one black, one Mexican. A cook food for the whole building. You know what I mean? On holidays. That's the school on Islamic service.
Yeah, that's G stuff right there, homie. That's G stuff right there, homie. How y'all did that, had a black and had a Serrano.
We did it. Cats would come out and cook. You know what I mean? Burritos for everybody. And go to every door, give everybody burritos. A bag of popcorn and a soda pop, you know what I mean? We'll watch movies and sports, all that. So it did happen.
Yeah. So I know you kind of, crunching for time for other movements, but I want to ask you, so in these other prisons, we hearing about other riots and racial tension going on. What is that about, you think, briefly?
Well, based on that it's happening right now, I can't really speak on it because I don't want to be, having nobody thinking I'm throwing them under the bus. I'm not there and this and that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And eventually things will get back to normal. People ironing it out.
Right.
But a lot of that stuff be happening only because of, you know what I mean? Like I said, the communication is breaking down.
Right.
And when the communication breaks down, people take it up on themselves, watch it out or get at you when you're not trying to communicate with them. So when there's a problem, fuck it, we just take off.
So we on bad communication right now.
It'd be the communication breakdown.
Right.
That's all it is bad communication. Somebody is not taking the time to really sit down and communicate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people got to know that even in the business world, communication is important.
Yeah. Hey, one more thing. You was mentioning going live. So you thinking about going live today? If so, what time should everybody chime in possibly?
We can go live at 5 o'clock. That way,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
We need to do during the day. That way everybody can chime in, and ask more questions and answers, and I can give them more. Right now I'm pressed for time because I'm trying to go get my prayer on and, get my blessings and say a prayer for everybody out there in the world. That way they could get the blessings.
On everything. So we appreciate you, loved one, and hey man, we're gonna be on the scene at 5 o'clock and ready to go live, homie, to send some questions and see can we get some answers, homie. So I'll catch you then, loved one. Much love and respect, and I'll catch you at 5, homie.
All right, much love and respect, and I love y'all, and I'll see y'all then. I'll help y'all out with what I can. As always, it's G stuff and not G stuff. Peace and blessings.
All the time. We out.